Well, it is a piping hot summer, so why don't you pick up a cold beverage and join a fine chat with the pros of the brew here. Jersey Joe, Ion on the box over there. And you know, one thing that helps you beat the heat in the summertime perhaps could be an ice cold beer. All right, it's maybe not the most, maybe you don't want to be operating any heavy machinery or construction where you're enjoying one, but just like Joel over there, it'll help quench your thirst and cool you down. And that's the subject of today's show episode of the Brew. How do you beat the heat? What do you do? Especially what do you do when the air conditioner breaks down or you're stuck and working outside? You just have to work in the heat. How do you cool down and make it work for you? Join our live conversation right now. Give us your thoughts. I got a bunch of yours that you posted online. Joel, let's go to you. When it's really piping hot and you live in the desert there in Vegas, how do you stay cool?
As you guys can tell, I'm pretty goddamn white. So that means I'm not outside a whole lot, which is an excellent way to beat the heat. Preferably, I stay indoors, play with your meat.
Wait a minute. When I asked that question on social media, you were the first one to chime in with that answer, by the way. How do you beat the heat? By beating your meat. All right, you're a poet and you don't know it. Very nice. All right, what do I do? Well, I try to do a couple things. Number one, take a cold shower if I can. In fact, I will do anything and everything it takes to get into air conditioning. I will stay at work longer if mine breaks down here. I will go to the mall. I will go to ShopRite and buy groceries. If it even gets that bad for a long period of time, I'll even go get a hotel room if I have to. It's just always growing up in the mountains of western Pennsylvania, it was always cold. And when I was a little kid, I admit this is kind of crazy. So the air conditioner when my parents' house didn't reach my bedroom. So sometimes I would take a wet washcloth and I would towel off and lay down in bed. And if it was really cold, I'd shove said washcloth down my pants. What do you think of that?
Way too much fucking information.
That is not a true story, ladies and gentlemen. That's just a fine piece of comedy. I would do the towel down thing, though, with a cold washcloth. I mean, I can't stand the heat. It's just one thing for me. And thank goodness being here on the East Coast, it only gets hot right now. Like today, it's so flippin' steamy hot here in New York City. It's like walking around in a sweaty ball sack almost. Like you step outside, you're instantly just soaked no matter what you can do. But at least, Joel, out there in Vegas, you got a dry heat, so it's a little bit more tolerable.
Yeah, that's the thing. People always complain about the heat here. Not people from here, but people that come and visit. But you go in the shade, like it's always dry. So you go in the shade, and about 2 seconds after you get into the shade, it's like 15 degrees, 20 degrees cooler.
Yeah.
For example, right now, it's like 90 at 95 outside, and it's like 70 inside my apartment because I picked a place that has shade.
Yeah.
So and I don't have the air conditioning on. I don't really need the air conditioning on. We're talking late July.
Yeah.
Because Vegas has a dry heat. Like I could open the door right now, and I'm not going to start sweating.
I'm real bad with the air conditioner. I have to have that thing on at like 68 degrees year-round no matter what. And I can vouch for the fact, because I was just out there with you in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and it was 107 degrees, and the heat there felt better at 107 degrees than it did right here in New York City today. It was just that humidity that just makes that big decision, that makes it tough. So let's get to a couple of your ideas right now. So how do you beat the heat? Here's your comments chimed in right now because James Zimba says air conditioning, ceiling fan, and a cold shower. Okay, he agrees with me with the air conditioning and a cold shower. A ceiling fan, though, never really did much for me. I mean, you have one there. Does it do anything for you? Because I don't have one here.
Yeah, I have one in my room. It actually makes things cold at night. It might sound weird, but like even without air conditioning, I kind of have to turn it off at night.
Well, why I'm asking that, because my grandmother has one and she refuses to turn the air conditioner on, and all the ceiling fan does to me is stirs up hot air and dust. It really never cooled down the place that much. It was it almost feels to me like it was some 80s novelty. It's like water beds. They kind of sound like a great idea, but in practical use, they never really work that well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have a shitload of hot air and dust to get around the room, then yeah, you're good with a fan.
That's about right for my grandmother's. That's about right for my grandmother's house. Hot air and dust. All right, let's take a couple more of your viewer comments right now because Starman writes in and says, I always put bottles of water in the freezer. I drink them as they slowly melt. I also wipe the condensation from the bottle on my forehead when I'm working outside. I don't care what it looks like, and I don't care about the plastic. I just know it works for me. That is actually a good point. Cold bottled water on a hot day. All right, if you're getting a beer, all right, bottled water is actually probably the best for you.
Condensation's still coming off the beer, just for the record. You like that?
Yes, perfect. You're like a Bud Light commercial ready to happen right there. You know what? The Bud Light Corporation at this point, for all the free ads we've given them, I'm drinking a Bud Light Orange here, they owe us at least several free cases, don't you think?
It would be nice. Get off your asses, Bud Light.
It would be nice. You know what else would be nice? Some more viewer comments. Let's take another one because Vamos Yankee says, go to the mall. I do know a lot of people do that, and add to that, like senior citizens here in New York area, they'll open what's called a cooling center, which when you live in an apartment, it's too hot. It's like a senior citizen center or a library where they'll tell people to go and stay cool, and you pretty much just sit there and play games and watch TV.
That actually sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, if I was super old, that'd be fun.
Probably would be, and when we get super old, maybe we get a card game or something going on there, or no, if that was you and I, we would be watching baseball. That's what would happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's take our next viewer comment because Jamie Simba writes in another one. He says, have you ever heard of the Ember Wave created by MIT students? I'm sorry, founded at MIT. Wonder if it really works. Okay, I know what this is. It's this new high-tech device. I don't even know if it's for sale yet, but it's basically a wristwatch that you wear, and it heats up in the winter when you need to get hot, and it cools down and gets cold in the summer when you need to get cold. And somehow when you wear the wristwatch on your elbow here, it fools your body into getting warmer or colder. Somehow it stimulates your nerves. It's a high-tech personal air conditioner and personal heater. It looks cool, but I'm sure it's one of those things now it's like $1,000, but maybe in the future it'll be something you could get for 4 easy payments in $19.95 on an infomercial.
Sounds like something high-tech that could go really bad, especially if it has enough power to cool or heat your entire body just from your elbow.
Yeah.
Sounds like if it wants, it could really kill you or at least give you cancer or fuck you up or some shit.
Well, hey, the future is now. Let's go to our final comment because this is a crazy one. Rock for Guitar chimes in and he says, I catch a dozen pigeons, then tie string around their ankles and create a natural fan. The way the cavemen did before electricity was invented. Full
What kind of Hills Have Eyes shit is that?
I don't know. He's got the showstopper once again.
I just make a human centipede out of pigeons. What?
I know. Don't try this at home, kids. All right, I want to thank our viewers for your comments and those who watch us live on the web. Make sure you click that like or subscribe button so you don't miss any more episodes of this web show. And on Thursdays, kicking back with Jersey Joe, it's more fun with the New York City Citizen app. This time, people called for 3 raccoons on an air conditioner, and a guy called 911 because he was cornered by a foot-long vicious rat. Crazy, outrageous, and funny stories in 911 via the Citizen app in New York City, Thursday on Kicking Back with Jersey Joe. And maybe Rock for Guitar could call when he sees somebody swinging pigeons around in the air like a fan. You got to give him 5 points for creativity, though.
Something tells me he's going to be cool with that rat fucking with people.
Yeah, probably. I do know for a fact he grew up in New York City during the 70s, so he's seen it all. Well, hey, we haven't seen even much of a lot more yet. We got lots more fun to have here each and every week. Jersey Joe here, eye on the box over there. Thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you next time, I hope.